Atmosphere and Volatile Evolution spacecraft, or MAVEN, is recording these UHF signals and will be relaying that recording hours after landing. MAVEN will be covering us.
It is live, it is live, it is live.
Until a few minutes
Neptune Chris 2004, and
which are indications that the spacecraft is alive.
I'm on YouTube, Nintendo Switch, by the way. If you look at it right here, notice right here. Yep, this is YouTube Nintendo Switch right here. And probably my first time doing this, and please don't terminate me. I'm just doing a commentary, and plus I'm doing it on Nintendo Switch. So yeah,
you can see Chloe
right
at work inside mission control right now. Perseverance's landing might look like the system the Curiosity rover used back in 2012, but landing on Mars is difficult. There's always a risk involved.
Yes.
Here's what needs to happen for Perseverance to touch down safely in Jezero Crater.
Nothing can be taken for granted when you get to Mars. There's a lot of things we
Just like 9 years ago, we made history by landing Curiosity rover on Mars. Now we have to land Perseverance on Mars. This is similar, but it's true. Landing on Mars is hard. That's what I call it, something like this, a 7-minute terror. That's what they said. I talked to Coach Betty, my science teacher, agri-science, saying that I want to make this a live stream just for the best of all of you. But yeah, it's true. Landing on Mars is the toughest job ever yet to experience, and it's gonna land in about an hour from now. So yeah, I'm doing this in an hour live stream. Right now, I'm just hoping to make sure that everything is perfectly A-okay as usual, and hopefully everything is gonna be A-okay.
The vehicle will continue actually flying itself through the
And believe it or not, yesterday Nintendo has announced that Splatoon 3 has been teased and has been announced that it's going to be released in 2022. But we don't know what exact date will be. But what do we know? That we got leaks of what's going to happen. For that, yeah, technically that.
On the inside to make it more capable, so that it can deal with the land site that we've given you.
The science team identified Jezero Crater as basically an ancient lake bed and one of the most promising places.
So yeah, basically everything is gonna be just changes of all the time.
The problem is it's a much more hazardous place to land.
Oh yeah, I'm not playing Splatoon 2, but I will play. Just like I had no idea. Trying to grind up to like star 50.
We need to get that off.
Yeah,
so we can actually
or
see
something
the
like that.
And we can see the ground in a couple different ways.
Perseverance will be the first mission to use terrain relative navigation. So while it's descending on the parachute, it will actually be taking images of the surface of Mars and determining where to go based on what it sees.
Bro, Jet Propulsion Laboratory does the 360 view. Crazy, huh?
Perseverance to land in much more challenging terrain than Curiosity or any previous Mars mission could. Amongst the rocks and the craters and the cliffs, these things are hazardous to.
That is unbelievable.
But these are the things that are interesting to the scientists.
Once Perseverance has figured out where she is, jettison the back shell and parachute. And
oh god, this is the moment.
Those rockets help us steer to a safe landing spot that's nearby.
That descent stage takes us all the way down to about 20 meters off the ground.
That's when we start the sky.
This is just a preview right here.
Has hit the ground. The descent stage will cut loose from the rover and fly away.
They gotta release it just quick because the dust on Mars is good.
Is really just the beginning for Perseverance. Its job, right, being the first leg of sample return, to go look for those signs of past life on Mars. All that can't start until we get Perseverance safely to the ground. And then that's when the real mission begins.
Landing on Mars, February 18. Commentary begins. It's always just beginning. That's in the Pacific daytime. Mission facts on Mars 2020 spacecraft is carrying the most cameras ever to deep space. 23 parts of a Mars 2020 rover, which includes Perseverance rover, 2 are on an Ingenuity Mars helicopter. Wow!
With us now is Al Chen. He is Perseverance's entry, descent,
That is
and landing
unbelievable.
lead. Al, you were part of the Curiosity rover landing. Does it get any easier the second time around?
It absolutely does not, especially when considering we're trying to
Trying to
land
update the
biggest,
thumbnail.
heaviest, and most complex rover we've ever built at the most dangerous landing site we've ever attempted. Jezero may look great and promising from a science perspective, but it's absolutely treacherous for landing. There's a cliff wall that's about 200 feet tall that runs right through the middle of the landing site. There are craters full of sand that even if we landed in them, we would not be able to drive out of. And there are rocks to the east and actually all over the place, rock fields. That would be a bad day for us if we were to land on them.
Now, Al, what new technology makes this type of dangerous landing possible?
Perseverance is carrying 2 new technologies that are really kind of under the hood smarts that are allowing us to land at this treacherous landing site. The first is range trigger. That's the ability, we've given Perseverance the ability to decide for herself, based on where she is, when to deploy the parachute. Previously, we used to deploy parachutes, that supersonic parachute, based just on navigated velocity. But now Perseverance has the smarts to figure out where she is and deploy that parachute at just the right place to make sure that we shrink where we can come down. That actually reduces the area, that error ellipse, where we can come down on the ground, from something that was on the order of 15 miles long by 12 miles wide for Curiosity to about 5 miles long by 4 miles wide for Perseverance. So that's quite a bit of reduction. Second, the next piece of technology that's helping us land there is terrain relative navigation. In the past, after we popped off the heat shield, we've taken pictures of the ground as it's been coming up, but we haven't really done anything with them. This time Perseverance is carrying a camera to take pictures, but also a kind of second brain to help it figure out what those pictures are telling it and match it up with an onboard map.
So, believe it or not, a suspect has found it out. And sadly, Nicki Minaj's father has died. And that's just unfortunate. I feel so sorry for Nicki Minaj.
Should be small enough and safe enough for us to land in safely and fly there after we've gotten rid of the parachute.
And we also have a social media question coming in. Sansakari14 on Instagram is asking, how does the sky crane decide where to move itself after the payload lands?
After the payload lands, after the rover touches down, the sky crane, the descent stage, which is that rocket-powered jetpack above it, the first job, of course, is to make sure you don't hurt the rover. So it'll turn forward or backward so that the engine plumes don't pass over the rover. So it'll come up and start to turn. And it'll go in whichever direction is closest to north. So it can either go forward, if that's the way north is, or go for the rear of the rover, if that's where north is. And it'll fly about 1/3 of a mile or so away.
Thanks for talking to us today, Al.
Thank you very much.
Now, let's head back to Mission Control for an update from Swati.
Hi, Raquel. So, remember that command that we sent at around 11?
So I'm trying to get fans as much as I can.
We are just about to get confirmation that Perseverance has received the command. The command took 11 minutes to Perseverance, and then the reply took 11 minutes to get back from Perseverance to the ground. So we should hear any second now that we have officially turned off the transmitter. And after that, we will be about 4 minutes from the start of entry, descent, and landing mode. At this point, we will transition from the cruise approach mode to entry, descent, and landing. And that means our travel from Earth to Mars is done, and now we just need to get to the surface. So far, things are looking good.
Live streaming right now on YouTube, guys. Feel free to join me as Perseverance will land on Mars. Oh, looks like there's something. Oh man.
Flight 8, Zoe. Our tracking stations have all confirmed the results of the transmitter drive-off and in Mach 1 way. Copy, Ace. GDF flight. Flight GDF. At this time, I'd like to disable the alarms before EDL main. So please disable all the alarm files and start a new downlink session. Copy that, EGP. Copy that, proceeding now.
information that we are now officially one way and the transmitter is off.
The transmitter has turned off. And yeah, the transmitter has turned off.
Has helped shape the other, starting with the landing of the Pathfinder more than 20 years ago, leading up to where we are today with Perseverance. Perseverance Deputy Project Manager Jennifer Trosper has worked on every Mars rover mission. And
right now I'm just watching and I'm just want to put some
Jennifer,
edits.
how does Perseverance fit into the history of exploring Mars?
Thanks, Raquel. It's great to be here. Well, Perseverance is NASA's 5th rover on Mars, and I've had the privilege of working on every one of them. And the very first rover was the Sojourner rover we sent in 1997, and it was the size of a microwave oven. And even at that small size, Sojourner was able to transform the way that we explore Mars, from stationary landers to small roving robots that go from place to place, just like a geologist would on Earth. So once we had that roving capability, then we sent our twin rovers Spirit and Opportunity. Spirit and Opportunity were tasked with finding evidence of ancient water on Mars. Now they did. They're great explorers, and both of them found ample evidence that water had once existed on the surface of Mars. But we had a question, another question then, was Mars ever habitable if water had been there? And that's when we sent Curiosity. Now Curiosity was a major upgrade to our rover fleet. She's the size of a small car. She landed with the sky crane system instead of airbags. And she also carries along her own sample.
So right now I added the song,
still operating
and yeah.
And during her exploration,
I added to the story on my Instagram, letting my followers on Instagram know that I'm live
streaming. So now
streaming.
we're sending Perseverance. Perseverance is tasked with answering the question and looking for evidence of ancient microbial life on Mars. And in order to do this, she has